of the night, the Breaux Show! And now, here's everybody's favorite two-stepping host, Michael Breaux!
Oh, hi there, and welcome to the Breaux Show. Thanks for coming on by today. We got a lot going on for you this week, so let's give a quick rundown of what we got going on. We got a 2-minute toy review coming up from one of the 2-minute toy preview toys from Captain America that we had last week. This week, we're going to take an in-depth look at the Red Skull action figure. Yeah, that's right, he's actually that cool, so we're bypassing all the captains and going right to the Red Skull. Also on tap, we've got a new review of the Doctor Who episode 4 from Series 6 that aired this past weekend. It's where the Doctor actually gets to talk to the TARDIS for the first time ever, really? You'll want to stick around for that review. It's actually really good. But for now, we're going to go right to our Toy and Geeky News segment with Mike, of course. So Mike, take it away. Thanks, Mike. And now for today's Toy and Geeky News segment. On Monday, May 16th, was the first day that most of the movie toys for Transformers Dark of the Moon and the Captain America movie toys were supposed to be on store shelves. It was even noticed in stores such as Walmart, Targets, and even Kmart's that these shelf space had already been created for these toys, but the toys weren't there on Monday morning. This created a little bit of an uproar across many toy boards across the internet, including places like RTM, where people were asking, where are the toys? Well, I can happily report that they are starting to show up slowly in all toy stores and in all stores such as Walmart, Target, and Kmart. So go start checking your stores now. You should see some of that product there finally. Also, Nicktoons showed a new promo for their new Voltron Force cartoon that's going to be premiering in June, on June 16th. The show is going to be an extension of the old 80s show cartoon, it looks like, that's going to take place a few years after that show's end. Characters such as Keith, Princess Allura, Lance, Hunk, Pidge, and even Lotor and more are going to be in the show. So get ready to take your 5 lions and form Voltron. We're going to be checking out the show and possibly even doing a review of at least the first episode and see if it feels just as good or if it's just as good as the original that like we remember. That's it for our Toy and Geeky News segment for this week. Mike, back to you. Thanks, Mike. All right, folks, let's go ahead and go right to our 2-minute toy review this week. Last week we did the preview of the Captain America toys. This week we're actually doing a review of one of those toys, but not of the Captain America himself that's played by Chris Evans in the new film. It's going to be a review of Hugo Weaving's latest incarnation as an evil persona, evil character in plastic. He's been Agent Smith, he's been Megatron even, but now he is the Red Skull. So let's take a look at the review of the Red Skull from the Captain America movie line.
This week's 2-minute toy review will take a look at a figure who is always red in the face, the Red Skull himself. This figure is made by Hasbro Toys and is in the 4-inch scale that the Thor and Green Lantern movie lines are in this year. Let's go ahead and take a look at the Red Skull, the scourge of World War II and arch enemy of Captain America. The Captain America movie toy's card design is pretty sharp, and I like it better than the Thor ones actually. The back, of course, gives us a little bio too of Red Skull, and possible plot points and hints to the movie itself. As for the figure, the face is as gaunt as it can be, and it appears to match the on-screen look extremely accurately. With a detailed body and uniform that looks Nazi-like for the time period, but just different enough to stand out, this figure looks amazing. The only drawback in the design is the lower legs seem to be really soft and might warp over time. Hopefully, that is not the case. Now, what does a Red Skull need to accessorize with? Well, for starters, he comes with a small Luger pistol and a big gun/cannon that fires off a blue projectile. This looks to be the way to show this as the energy weapon we briefly see in the trailers. Red Skull also comes with an object that we now have seen on screen in the in-credit scene of Thor, the Cosmic Cube. Small, this piece might easily be lost if you aren't careful. I would have liked 2 versions of this cube, one with the energy like we got, and one that was just the small cube itself. Still, it looks great, especially since Red Skull has one hand sculpted perfectly to hold it. So how well articulated is a figure that is named after a bone structure? Pretty well, actually, considering he might be something you see hanging in a doctor's office. He's got a ball and socket neck, full motion shoulders, swivel arm motion, bend at the elbows, wrist swivel, waist swivel, double jointed knees, and thigh rotation. What is limiting slightly, though, is that the ankles have no articulation, and even more limiting is the lower waist jacket covers the upper thighs, so they can rotate but not go up and down at all. So sadly, Red Skull will never be able to sit down, not that he needs to. So what's the bottom line? This is your chance to own not one, but one of two different figures of evil characters played by Elrond the Elf himself, Hugo Weaving. At $7.99 normal retail price, he is a must-grab to be the baddie your Captain America faces on your shelf display. And to add incentive to definitely get this figure, it comes with the Cosmic Cube. The Cosmic Cube is now the second Marvel Universe item of ultimate power to be made in this scale, the first being Thanos with the Infinity Gauntlet. My advice? Snag this figure when you see it, and do not let Thanos, your Megatron, or Charlie Sheen action figure grab it. You never know what might happen.
Wow, what a cool, evil little action figure the Red Skull is, isn't he? But he's way cool. So check him out. Go grab him if you get a chance to see him. So let's talk some Doctor Who, shall we? This week's episode was called The Doctor's Wife. It was episode 4 for Series 6 running right now, and it was really good. It was actually, I think, the best Matt Smith Doctor Who episode ever so far. And the reason I say that is he's able to interact with his TARDIS in a way he's never been able to before as the Doctor. I'll get to that in just a moment. But basically the episode starts off with the Doctor getting a little box, a little message from a Time Lord. Now we all know the Time Lords are all dead and gone supposedly. There's no more left. Well, that's still the case. This little box is actually a lure that this big creature entity of some kind actually uses to catch Time Lords and their TARDISes. TARDISes? What is the exact plural form of TARDIS? Needless to say, it pulls these TARDISes and lures them into this part of the non-universe, kind of outside of normal universe, into this big junk planet, essentially. I half expected to see Wreck-Gar from Transformers there. It was great because they landed and they ran into these people who thought, oh, they're just out of place, or there was even an Ood there. But they're controlled by this entity, this creature that's on the planet, that wants to eat TARDISes. It eats TARDISes for the power, but because he is the last Time Lord, it doesn't want to eat this TARDIS, it wants to use it to escape. Now, how does it eat these TARDISes? Well, somehow they actually take the life essence, matrix, force, whatever it is that's part of the actual makeup of the TARDIS itself, and they put it into a human woman. And that's what gives voice to the TARDIS. It gives the Doctor a chance, without him knowing who it is at first, a chance to talk to the TARDIS. She's a little crazy, she's a little wild, she's like the Doctor on an acid trip, basically. But in the end, it works out really well. They're able to communicate, and the Doctor realizes this is his soulmate. They even talk and find out different things like she, the TARDIS itself, was the one who let the Doctor borrow the TARDIS from the Gallifreyan Museum way back all those years ago. I thought that was a cool little backstory there. Needless to say, that interaction was great. And at one point, they have to catch up with their own TARDIS, because this creature does take his TARDIS, does take the Doctor's TARDIS. Of course, who's in the TARDIS when he does that? Yes, Amy and Rory are in the TARDIS for safekeeping. Not so much. You see them running for their lives. You see them running throughout all these different tunnels and corridors that you don't normally see in the TARDIS. Well, guess what? You do. And you also see another thing. You see a dead Rory again. Seriously? Rory dies again in the episode? Last week he died, this week he dies. Seriously, I don't drink, but you could turn it into a drinking game at this point. Look, Rory's dead. Take another shot. Rory's dead. Yeah, needless to say, I don't drink, but heck, if you do, maybe it's your drinking game. So, the TARDIS is, at this point, all the way away. Doctor realizes, hey, I got to catch up to him. So they take all these junk parts that are TARDISes, and him and his own TARDIS in a female form build a TARDIS console and go after it. Not going to say how the rest of the show ends, but everything turns out okay in the end, and the Doctor loses the ability to talk to his TARDIS anymore. He loses that human body that the TARDIS was in, because he's got to put everything back the way it was. It was really sad, but it was a really fun episode. It was, I think, like I said before, the best episode Matt Smith has ever done as Doctor Who. I mean, it was really, really phenomenal. So I say check it out if you get a chance. Next week's episode, it looks like it's going to be an okay episode. I don't know yet. It's going to be tough to beat this one. So that's what I thought of Doctor Who. That was my Doctor Who review for this week. We'll be right back after this.
This week in Geektastic History.
This week in Geektastic History, Sega of America and Sony disclosed that ImageSoft would begin producing games for their systems. On May 20th, 1992, ImageSoft partnered up with Sony and Sega and would be tasked to develop games for the Sega Genesis, Game Gear, and soon the Sega CD systems. ImageSoft brought forth only a few games, but its most well-known game was the shooter using real video, Sewer Shark.
Take a deep breath, rookie. Don't you love the smell of the sewers in the morning? They smell like victory!
Yep, that was advanced gaming for its time.
This week in Geektastic History.
Alright folks, I hope you enjoyed that little segment on Geektastic there. I remember playing Sewer Shark actually when I was graduating from high school. Wow, I feel really old. That's okay. Alright folks, I hope you enjoyed watching the show as much as fun as it was for me to make it for you guys. So come on back again next week. There's going to be lots more fun and wackiness. Now next week, I'm not going to say that I'm not making a show, but there may be a chance that I don't get a chance to make the full production that I normally do for you guys, only because I want to try and revamp the BroShow.com actual website a little bit. Maybe include some blogs, maybe revamp how the videos are showing, just all that fun stuff. Takes a little bit of time, and I need to focus on that, possibly need to next week. Don't know yet if I'm going to produce a full show. Doesn't mean I'm not going to produce a video or two, though, still. There'll still be a Geektastic segment, which I really love making for you guys, and there's going to be a new 2-minute toy review. Not sure what I'm going to review quite yet, so it could be a complete surprise, but definitely check those out. And again, who knows? Even if I don't do a full-blown show, maybe I'll do a quick little special for you guys. Anything's possible. So that being said, always come back. It's always fun to do this for you. And remember, as always, everybody, rock on, everybody.